Hi everybody, let's do a quick layout update. Promise to be pretty quick because I haven't done a whole lot. But I will talk about some plans coming up, some things I'm going to do. As you can tell, I hadn't been a whole lot going on. Actually, pretty obvious that I painted my fascia. I always wanted a dark color, sort of makes it jump out to me. It looks sort of like a museum type thing, makes the layout stand out. But another reason why I did it is you guys know I use this clamp a lot of times to suspend the camera down and shoot my videos, things like that. I put my iPhone in here and shoot the videos. Well, I'm going to put a picture in right here of the fascia. So this clamp has a rubber pads on it, and it was marking the fascia up. And I couldn't really clean it off. So I'm hoping this black color will help alleviate that problem. I really like it a lot, and so I'll flip the camera around and sort of show you what I'm doing in the expansion now. So I have the fascia on over here. Again, it's painted black. Now the track diagram that I've got there, that will go on the upper light valance when I get that done, but I don't want to put the light valance up until I get more of the scenery done, especially in that back corner, because it's sort of difficult to reach back there. I've got this little stool that I climb up on to get back here. So I won't have to worry about that when it's done, because there's not going to be any switching back there, anything like that. I shouldn't have to access that very much. But that's what I'm working on right now. I'm working on the ballast. You can see the rubbing alcohol and the other stuff there. And I'm filling in the ties on the track and painting the track. So I'll show you that here in a few minutes. So one more real quick thing I did. I put another holder for the power cap over here in case I ever need to sit down for a minute. Because it's pretty good distance from up there. I didn't have to want to walk back. I'll never leave it here because it blocks my workbench, but it's going to come in handy. So you can tell I've started ballasting back here. Also, this building came with the Atlas Roundhouse. Chillicothe had a little building like that. I assume it was like maybe a locker room or something, office for the people that worked in the Roundhouse. Of course, when they downsized to Chillicothe Roundhouse, they tore that building down, but I thought I'd go ahead and put it in there, but make it sort of abandoned. You can see it's got weeds growing up, and it's got a patch on the roof. So I'll probably make it a little bit more abandoned than that. Got a couple little kits I've scrounged, put together just to be around the yard somewhere. So what I'm going to talk about next is what I'm going to do over here, and then end the video with what I'm going to do over here. So these are the only two shop buildings left in Chillicothe. This was a transfer table in between them. You can tell they've been still being utilized. Thank goodness, still there. Of course, the doors on these ends are boxed up. I'll show you some pictures I took with them in the background, but I didn't focus on them too much. So this is looking west across where the transfer table was. I took this in 1985 after the shops were closed. So you might just see the door on the right there. And this little bit of a close-up of that same building. Model the transfer table and one door probably. But from here to here, this is going to be a backdrop building, is about 28 inches. So it's going to be against the backdrop flats. Basically, it's just going to be about like this showing, above the line, and there'll be a couple of doors on each end, a bunch of windows along here. So that'll be part of the backdrop for the Chillicothe yard. A couple other buildings that were still here until they tore everything down. The remains of the Roundhouse and all that. For down here, I'll put a picture in there. It's like a company storeroom that will also be against the backdrop back there. So that's how I'm going to fill that area behind the yard. So I'm going to give you a big overview here. Again, here was the yard. Here was the remains of the roundhouse. These are the two shop buildings that I was just talking about a minute ago that I'm going to put behind the main line. Big grain elevator, and what I'm going to talk about next are these buildings down here, which I'm going to put behind the curve. Here's a Google Earth view, or Google Maps view of the area today. This is Washington Avenue, and actually this is where General Chemical was. This green space down here was nothing left of it, of course. But the Arbenz Furniture Company building, which was built in the mid-1880s, was right here. This is a separate building. It's a house. I know it's hard to tell in this picture, but there's a 3 feet between it. All this other stuff was built later. You can see in the old picture where it says like the pottery factory or something, that was down in here. That's obviously all torn down. These are all sort of warehouses now. Trucks back up here. One time the paper company used it. I don't know who uses it now. It's sort of a hodgepodge of buildings. And the one older picture that I'll show you right here. So this is the area I'm talking about, and you can see there's a siding of cars all the way down through here. When it was just being used for storage, because this was taken in the 50s, I believe. Was a siding down through here that you could, you know, I guess when they use this warehouse, they could unload and load railroad cars. You can tell it's all overgrown with trees now, completely. You can't even see these buildings. I tried to look on Google Earth. I was over here on Watt Street, and I tried to, like, you can't even tell that there's buildings there, basically. This yard here is for the big grain elevator. They built that later after the CSX abandoned everything. So it's just a staging yard for cars. And the grain elevator has its own switcher and a yard lead here that they can, you know, take care of their cars. The track ends right here at Watt Street, so they have to like load 3-4 cars at a time, then back them out and put them in here and do a lot of switching to get enough for a unit train. This is the main line down through here, where it still looks pretty good, but of course it's not a main line anymore. So this is what I'm thinking, building flats with, you can barely see through overgrown trees behind that curve. I think that would be better than building 10 different houses and trying to put a street there and everything on the curve. I don't think that would look very good. I can cover a lot of ground, a lot of area with these flats, and I don't have to make them super detailed because the trees are going to hide most of the stuff. So this is a current street view of the Arbenz building. Later on, they actually made cars for a short time. Ended about 1915. I'm not going to see this side of the building, but I can use it for the windows and details and stuff like that. And then the next view is actually farther down the street, and I think this is the remains of the pottery looking toward the Arbenz building. So I can have some variation in the backdrop buildings anyhow, instead of just one type. Okay, that's it for this layout update. About 2 weeks out from my surgery. I'm going to be working 1 week of that in Missouri. So actually I'll get back on a Friday, and then I've got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday before I get my surgery. So that time is going to be pretty busy. I'll try to get some operation videos if I can before I go. But you probably won't be seeing the layout. I'm hoping I can do some of this construction of the buildings while I'm laid up. Now I built a couple of the houses you can see on the end of Douglas Avenue. I built those actually with my left arm in a sling right to my rotator cuff. So, you know, I do intend to try to make progress on the layout while I'm laid up. But anyhow, operations video this weekend. Everybody stay safe.